Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Book Collector Geek, and this is the Sunday video where I look at the hottest Golden Age comics of the week. Sorry, I didn't shave. I'm kind of scruffy looking today, but we'll work with it. So the first on the list is Star Spangled Comics number 65. This is from DC Comics 1947. It's a Win Mortimer cover. And it's actually where Robin begins on the covers for Star Spangled Comics. Batman sort of makes an appearance as well in the shadow, but this is why if you look at the number of comics that Robin appears on the cover versus Batman in the Golden Age, actually Batman appears less often than Robin does, even though Batman's an earlier character. So, because Robin appears a lot of the time on Star Spangled Comics, so that's how he gets the more common cover appearance. So this was a 1.8 that sold, and it sold for $400. This is the only sale in this grade, actually. And the fair market value for this book was cited as being $325 by Go Collect. However, to sort of justify that fair market value, Go Collect recorded a sale of a 2.0 in November of 2024 for $400. So a 1.8 should go for a little less, but I guess there's a bit of price compression. So this one was a strong sale. There's 55 of these on the census, and 49 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 9 on the list is Famous Crimes number 2. This is from Fox, 1948. I'm not sure who the cover artist is. I did look it up, but there's no recording of who the artist is, but it is a great cover. It's actually one of my favorite covers from Famous Crimes. It's a lingerie cover, just a really cool cover. This was a 1.0 that sold with Brittle pages. It sold for $350. Now this was an interesting one because this 1.0 looked amazing. Actually, it was a very sad 1.0 because sometimes when CGC denotes something as brittle, it really grades it harshly. This is one of those cases where this one presented amazing. I couldn't really see many flaws in it. It was just really, really nice presenting 1.0. And so it sold for $350. Now, this is the only sale in this grade. A 1.8 though, so a higher grade, sold for $318 in May of 2020. So this was a strong sale, but a really good looking book. Whoever picked this up, I actually think got a pretty good deal because it looks really good. But how do you feel about brittle pages? That's the big thing. So some people get really nervous about the brittle pages, that the book's just going to turn to dust. But this one really presented well. And sometimes when CGC denotes brittleness, it's not always accurate. It can be like a little bit of brittleness, maybe a bit like a chipping coming off on 1 or 2 pages. But, it's one of those ones you got to be careful with. I've bought brittle books before, and this is just a warning about brittle books. Sometimes, no problems. It looks pretty solid. It looks like they kind of overly were being critical about the page quality. But other times, when I actually get the slab, there's like debris in the slab from the breakdown of the paper. So brittle is like one of those really, it's like sometimes good, sometimes not so good. But one thing I have noticed with brittle pages is generally the colors pop more. I don't know, something about the fact that the paper has been oxidized. The colors can be actually more brilliant than non-brittle page copies. Just interesting thing about brittle comics. So there's 24 of these on the census, and 24 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 8 on the list is Casper the Friendly Ghost, number 20. This is from Harvey Comics, 1954. It is the first appearance of Wendy the Good Witch. this is a book that actually I was searching for a while. I managed to find it in the wild, and it made one of my lists, personal lists, as one of the books that I got as a steal, a personal steal, because I was excited when I found it. I found it for a real steal. And you'll see how much of a steal it was, because I paid $20 for my copy. This was a 6.5 that sold, and it sold for $799, which is also a steal, believe it or not, because the previous record for this book was set back in August of 2019 for $1,100. So it's actually down considerably from that previous record, almost 400, like $300 from that previous record. So just somebody got a steal on this, but not quite as big of a steal as I did. I guess that's the best way to say it. It was a good sale for somebody. There's 37 of these on the census, and 37 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 7 on the list is Crime Suspense Stories number 22. This is from EC Comics, 1954. It's a Johnny Craig cover, and it is a classic cover. You have the man with the axe standing over a body, and in his other hand is the woman's head. Now, it's one of those ones that led to the end of the golden age of comics. It's one that was used in the Senate hearings. It was a major book that really did lead to the end of the golden age. Now, with all that being said, it's all about the cover. It's really all about the cover. And this one is an interesting one. I believe this is a remainder copy. It was a 0.5 copy where the bottom of it had been ripped off. And that's actually the key part of the cover. So I feel a little bit weird about this one because it's a low grade, yeah, but this is where that cover really does make a difference. And it's still a key book. So the key elements of this book are missing, but it's still an important, significant book. So it's one of those ones a little odd. Now, there was a previous record for this book. So this sold for $730. There was a previous record set back in July of 2023 for $2,565 for a 0.5 grade one. So that was like much, much higher. But that other 0.5, the difference is it had the complete cover. So, that makes a big difference. Now, the interesting thing is I actually found the record for where this book had sold previously. And it sold for $920 back in January of 2024. So actually a year ago, it actually sold for higher. So somebody took a bit of a hit on this book. It sold for $200 less than its prior record for the same copy where it has that removed bottom. On this list, we're going to see this a lot, where people seem to have taken a bit of a hit on some of the books that they sold. You're going to see that with the next few. There's 416 of these on the census, and 466 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 6 on the list is Boy Commandos number 15. This is from DC Comics 1946. It's the first appearance and origin of Crazy Quilt. Just a cool character for DC Comics. It's a character that actually was created in the Golden Age, but actually went all the way up into the modern era. So this was a 8.0 that sold, and it sold for $537. And this is, as I was saying, this is a bit of a trend on this list, where the previous record for this book was set back in August of 2017 for $900 for the exact same book. So somebody had a copy. I guess they just wanted to get it to sell it, and they took a bit of a loss. Almost half, like 40% knockoff on the price for something that hasn't sold for 8 years. That's a bit brutal. So yeah, there's 33 of these on the census, and 33 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 5 on the list is Eerie Comics number 1. This is from Avon, 1951. it is actually the first ongoing title for this comic. There was an earlier Eerie one, which is considered to be the first horror comic. But this is the first ongoing title, Eerie #1, and I think it lasted 27 issues. Now this was a 4 or 5 that sold, and it sold for $1,000. The previous record for this book, and for the exact same book again, was $1,200, and that sold in May of 2023 for the exact same book. So again, somebody took a loss on the book. They just tried to get the sale. This is a very desirable book, and I think they just wanted to get a quick sale. Again, another loss, $200, 20% on the value of the book. Not sure why. There's 3 in a row where they took a loss on the book, just trying to sell it. And some of these were actually not best offers, but just buy it now. So they were just trying to sell the book, get rid of it. There are 82 of these on the census, and 72 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 4 on the list is Little Lotta, #1. This is from Harvey Comics, 1955. It's one of those ones that's kind of on that cusp of Golden Age and Silver Age, because it does have the Comic Code Authority on it, but it's sort of early Comic Code Authority. But it's actually a pretty interesting title, because Little Lotta is one of those ones like Little Lulu and Richie Rich that was kind of a popular kids title. One of the things that made Harvey very successful beyond the Golden Age, because Harvey is one of those ones that kind of had very diverse comic lines. They had their horror books, like with Black Cat Mystery, and then they had kids books like Little Lulu and Richie Rich. It's just so divergent. And also Casper the Ghost was also, another Harvey one. So just really odd that they have that very diverse comic line. Now this is the first ongoing title for Little Lotta, so makes it a little bit special. This was a 7.5, and it sold for $1,375. Now, this is way up from the previous sale for this book. The previous record for this book was set back in August of 2020 for $780. So really strong sale. So it seemed like we were doing kind of poorly there, but there are some strong sales. This was one of them. Almost double from where it had sold before. There are 21 of these on the census, and 19 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 3 on the list is Silver Streak Comics #2. This is a Lee Gleason comic from 1940, and it's a Joe Simon cover, and it is a cool cover. It's got this, it's got the claw. Whenever you have a claw cover, they're usually cool. He's just such a creepy character, crazy teeth, big clawy hands, just a really cool character, and he's holding a woman, there's damsel in distress in one of his claws. It's just a really cool cover. In the background, there's bondage and there's like skulls. It's just really cool and creepy cover. These Silver Streaks I really like this title. I only have 1 from the title, but I'm planning to get more because they're just so cool. This is also the first time that they use the silver metallic logo. So that's another element to this cover. This was a 1.5 that sold, and it sold for $1,375. This is a very strong sale for this book, because the previous record for this book was set back in January of 2018 for $599. So it's up more than double from that prior record. So just a really, really strong sale. And it's probably because this is one of those books that hasn't sold for 7 years. It's, when you have that much time pass, anytime it comes up, people will grab it because it's just that rare. There's only 25 of these on the census, and 20 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 2 on the list is Detective Comics 168. This is from DC Comics 1951. It is a Lou Shire Swartz cover, and it's the origin of the Joker. It's kind of a major key. It's the first appearance of the Red Hood as well, who becomes his own character later on. But this is a major key for DC, and it's a classic cover, just a really cool Detective Comics cover, a Joker cover. Doesn't look like the Joker because, well, spoiler, it is the Joker, but you don't know that because he's wearing the red hood. Now, this is an interesting one because this was a coverless copy that sold, and it sold for $1,199. Now, that's actually a weaker sale for this book. The previous record was I think in 2023. I didn't write it down, but I think it was 2023 for $1,560. So it's down from that prior record. This is one of those ones where it's actually kind of cool even without the cover, because the first page of the coverless copy is still the Joker splash page, so it kind of works either way. And it is a key comic. It would be, obviously it's better to have it with the cover, but it just shows you how valuable this book is. Now, this is what is called the NG cover, or no grade cover, comic, I should say. But in GPA, they actually will denote it as a 0.5. They don't use the NG grade. So that's one of the weird things with GPA analysis. But the interesting thing about this is, so if you think about all the different versions of 0.5, which are incomplete comics, obviously the ones without a cover would be the lowest of those, like in terms of value. And that really does show with this book. A 0.5 version of this book recently sold for $7,373 back in October of 2024. So it just shows you how much more valuable having that extra cover on the book makes. Even though the book is still incomplete, just that cover adds so much value to the book. There are 33 of these on the census, and 33 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 1 on the list is Planet Comics number 44. This is from Fiction House, 1946. It is a Joe Doolan cover, and it's a really cool one. You got this girl being almost held up in a bubble by this weird tentacly monster, and she's wearing high heels in the bubble. Not a good thing. I think the monsters are about to eat her, and if she pops the bubble, she's kind of toast. But just a cool cover. It's just these sci-fi covers from Planet Comics are just really awesome. Planet Comics is one of those things that I always consider as a gateway drug for the Golden Age, because they're fairly affordable for the Golden Age, but at the same time you get cool covers and just very underrated covers. They're just great good girl, great sci-fi, just awesome. This was an 8.0 that sold, so really high grade for this book, and it sold for $1,195. Now, this is actually quite a strong sale, because the previous record for this book was set back in 2013. So it's been a while. It's gone up since. And that previous record was $461. So it's almost up, almost 3 times, not quite 3 times from that prior record, but a very strong sale. Now, Go Collect lists the fair market value as being $1,000. So this is actually about $200 above, or 20% above what they would say is the fair market value for this book. So a very strong sale. At least we had couple strong sales after many people taking losses. There are 88 of these on the census, and 80 of them are Universal Blue Labels. So what did you think of this list? Would you, do you think people are just selling some of their books just to get some quick cash, or what's happening? So I'd be kind of curious, what do you think happened with those sales where people were basically selling the same book at a loss? I'd just be curious for that feedback in the comments. And thanks again for watching. Bye for now.